All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Shaoyu Liu. You can call me Sean. I'm currently third-year PhD student from the AIS PhD department. Stepping into my fourth year, I'm also a licensed CP. My research interests include in integrating large language model comprehensive financial textual information to perform textual analysis. Today, I'm gonna briefly introduce the concept of robotic process automation and following up with a quick demo with one RPA software called UiPath. And after that, I will introduce the one project I'm doing with Professor Nicholas at Car Lab. We're integrating large language model with robotic process automation to achieve so-called intelligent automation. All right, so to start with, the introduction of RPA, I would always like to start with a quick video of story of work. So
this is the story of work. It started a long time ago on a Monday, which was handy. For as long as history itself, the humans needed to work. They wanted to work, to grow things and create things and build things, to see what they were capable of, to stand at day's end and say, I did that, which felt pretty good. So they worked more, built more, and created more, and traveled to far-off places. And then someone suggested submitting expense reports for those far-off places. His name was Glenn, and he was a jackass. Anyway, the people kept getting better at work. They built better tools to work more efficiently. They built amazing machines to work faster. They built computers to work smarter. But still, they couldn't do enough work. Because during all that work to do more work, they had created work, and not the good kind. Not the let's sit around and come up with ideas kind. Not the I can't wait to get to work so I can jump into a new project kind. The crap kind. The drudge and data and admin and the damned expense reports. So the humans had to work more at work they didn't like. That made them robotic. That didn't inspire. They had to postpone vacations. They had to miss family dinners. They were pissed. And then something happened. Someone had a really amazing idea. They came into work and said, stop working and start working. The humans thought she might have had wine at lunch, so she showed them a way to put the fun back into work, to waste less time doing the things they hated, to make more efficient the big tasks, to stop making the humans act like robots and start teaching the robots to learn the humans. Not to replace people, but to free them. Even Glenn. Robots that learn you. Imagine the potential, like starting over, to help us remember again that work only really works when we're happy at it.
So with this short video, I hope it inspire all of us to be more interested in the concept of robotic process automation and try to learn something about it so we can use it to free ourselves from tedious work. So RPA stands for robotic process automation. That's a technology that enables a software program to mimic human actions while it can interact with your computer applications to accomplish certain required tasks. Some human actions that can be automated are the keyboard inputs, mouse movements and clicks, and reading computer screens. So with robotic process automation, it can literally do everything you can do with your computer. It can type in text information into Excel files, web browser, your PDF template. It can move your mouse to open a link, save a file to your local folders, and it can also read your screen just like you did. What you saw on your screen, the RPA can see it as well. So robotic process automation is accomplished with the help of software robots. That's a key concept of the RPA is it uses a software robot to help you to accomplish this kind of automation. It can help you to achieve your task faster, more accurate, and more efficient. So here's a couple of things what RPA can do. It can mimic human actions. That's like a very basic, the nature of RPA. And it's a non-invasively method. It can sit on top of your system. It doesn't require any like fundamental change to your to your applications, like to your ERP system, to your Excel files. It doesn't need that. It sits on top of that, just like you did to interact with them. And it can read and process data in a structured format. RPA is very easy to implement and very powerful to scale. Once you configure your bot correctly, properly, it can be implemented to your process and can be scaled to perform the same process many times, and more beautifully, it can perform 24/7 without any breaks. So even with one simple robot process, maybe a little bit slower, but it can work seamlessly, work forever. So speaking of that, can we think of some kind of digital interaction that we can use to be automated? Whether robot can do it in your like either your professional life or in your daily life? Can you think about some kind of process that you want to automate them? Send out job applications. You can, I believe that's something you can do. You can like collect a list of like job posting with a link, and with your resume ready. But one very important feature that RPA can work is they can only work on structured format. That means for each of your job applications, they have to be the same format. If the job application portal is different, your RPA cannot really identify the different location, like to submit your resume here, to put your name there. If the location is different on your web screen, it will face some trouble. Like do the web scraping for you to collect your interesting information. Yeah, I was about to raise a similar point. Similar example is I will get a list of the stocks. I want to know the price every day, so I can run a robot for that to search for stock price every day. What's the opening price today? Like, so I don't need to like get up early, like 9 a.m. Cool. So, speaking of what is RPA, I think it's always very important to know what is not RPA, because RPA is sounds like a very fancy concept that people believe it can do everything. It can solve any problem you are facing in your work, but it actually is not many things that people are believing the RPA is. So the first thing is RPA is not a business process management software. It does only focus on automating certain tasks, very specific tasks in your work. It does not managing the whole business process. And RPA does not literally require very hard coding like Python or C++. It does not require very hard coding skills. It provides you a very user-friendly interface. Literally, most of the RPA software on the market is just to use the drag and drop activities into a workflow. So it's very easy to understand and very user-friendly. Also, RPA is not an ERP system. While it can indeed interact with your ERP system to finish certain tasks that like recording transactions, but RPA itself is not a system for enterprise resource planning or management. Another thing is RPA is not a database. RPA can interact with your database, can read data into it, perform some manipulation, perform tasks, but you have to save the data out in somewhere. It itself does not store any data. once the bot run one round of bot running, it doesn't save anything. You need to make sure you output the process data somewhere. And RPA is not a universal solution. It's only ideal for certain tasks that is routine, high volume, but unsuitable for tasks that need strategic thinking and continuous adaptation. Also, last but not least, RPA is definitely not a job replacement. Some people when they heard about the concept of automation, they're thinking, oh, I'm gonna use to replace some of my employees, or some employees feel hesitate to adopt RPA because they feel their job are gonna be replaced. But it's not the true thing. RPA only targets repetitive tasks that cannot replace rules require complex human skills and emotional intelligence. Actually, RPA can indeed improve the work efficiency and promote employees to focus more on innovative tasks, and as a result can actually increase the job satisfaction. And moving on, I really want to highlight the concept of RPA and AI, because many people usually confuse them, think RPA is AI or AI is one type of RPA. But RPA and AI are two distinguished technology. RPA is just a software robot that mimic human actions, while artificial intelligence is a simulation of human intelligence by machine. So you can consider RPA as like a skeleton. You build a skeleton, and it works exactly as how you configure them to do. While the artificial intelligence is like the brain. You program the brain and promote the AI how to think like a human, while RPA is how to act like a human on a computer. Where some type of like common technology that under the umbrella of AI technology is machine learning, natural language processing, natural language understanding, and chatbot. Of course, the very popular ChatGPT, Gemini, they are all very broad AI concepts. While RPA is a type of technology that focuses on high volume processes, labor-intensive processes, rule-based and repetitive processes, and process with structured data. Even though RPA and AI are two distinguished technology, but RPA can indeed combine with AI to achieve so-called intelligent process automation. With RPA, RPA with certain limitation, of course, it can work on structured data only. That means like your data format had to be the same for each round of bot running. So it can only work on, for example, if you want to use RPA to read a PDF file to get information from the, let's say, invoice, it can only read the same invoice format. If you have invoices from two different suppliers, you cannot build one bot to read the information from two different type of invoices. That's structured data only. And RPA cannot perform complex decision, require high cognitive judgment, and cannot adapt to changes. Of course, RPA cannot learn through time, so it can only act how you program them to be. Once there is any changes to your process or to the data environment or to your system environment, that requires maintenance and update to your bot. But AI has the capability to transform unstructured data to structured data and perform complex judgment based on human instructions. So with a combination of AI to can help RPA overcome its limitation and achieve intelligent automation to like move beyond the original scope of conventional RPA technology, can like bring more possibility and potentials to RPA. After we get some basic understanding of RPA, here are some benefits. First is okay, this animation. So RPA can help you increase your execution speed to based on, from my own experience, when we are doing the so-called intelligent process automation project, the last step is to perform judgment. With the logical judgment part, I built it very complex, but normally RPA can process it within only a couple of seconds. It's really, really fast. And it can enhance your accuracy. Human can make error, but barely a robot can make error as long as you program it correctly. And it can improve the regulatory compliance with less people involved in certain process, the less risk of collusion. Imagine that from the business process, if you automate the entire process of receiving an invoice, recording the transaction, and cash disbursement without any human involved. So there's much less risk to have fraud happen. And it can also reduce the cost of process execution, as it can save both resource in terms of time and labor and literally your money cost. And it's very easy to scale. You configure a bot and it can be implemented for multiple tasks to use the same flow, work on the same data. And with the benefit of RPA, here are some future works can be done with RPA, and RPA can build a robot that can mimic human actions. And this can be accomplished in a low-code environment. So that makes it very easy to implement in the business environment. And RPA can make individuals more efficient. A robot can execute the task assigned to it much faster compared to human. In addition, RPA can also help workers become more productive and release their cognitive constraints to focus more on other aspects of their work. Requires more cognitive input, requires more judgment input, and requires more innovation to actually increase their job satisfaction. RPA can free works from their mundane, tedious, repetitive tasks, and as I mentioned, focus on their creativity and human decisions. Here are some examples that how RPA can be used in our business environment. The first one, payroll processing, and it can also be used to manage the client information, as RPA can interact with a web browser. Many firms use online customer relationship management system. So it can use input new customer information, update customer information, etc. And it can also be used in accounting reconciliation and invoice processing. That's a very classic business use of RPA. And very similar to invoice processing, RPA can also use to generate sales orders with all the sales information input. It can automatically generate sales orders and ask for approval, send it out to its vendor, as well as compliance reporting. RPA can be used to review certain reports from the different business segments and to check any violations of internal control, any indicators of potential fraud, and to report such instance automatically. Moving on, I would like to highlight how to identify and prioritize the process for RPA. With the RPA technology developed, there are many processes that can be automated, but whether you should automate it is a question. So first, there are two features I want to define it as that determines whether your process can be automated. That is, whether a process is rule-based. RPA can only work on can work on tasks with very clear rules. It's like you do this first and then do that something else, you do something else. So if you can break down your process with very detailed step-by-step rule-based tasks, it can be automated. And RPA can only work on tasks that's driven by digital inputs. It's like RPA is not like a human. It can read physical documents. It cannot do that. So it can only work on digital inputs. And the other four features, I want to define them as whether you should automate your process, because you can automate it doesn't mean you must automate it. The first one is the first two I want to combine them together, whether a task is voluminous, and whether a task is repetitive. So consider one task that only happens like twice a year or once a month. And each of your tasks you only need to deal with like 10 customers or only need to issue 10 invoices. It probably does not an ideal task that you want to automate with this RPA technique, because that requires considerable inputs in terms of time and effort to configure the bot properly. To just automate like 10 transactions per month or 10 transactions per year, it probably doesn't worth it. And another attribute is whether your task is data intensive. RPA is best suited for tasks that work with a lot of data. It can do the data manipulation for you. The last feature is whether your task has substantial stakes to save, both in terms of time and money monitoring cost. So if you automate one task and only saves you like 10 minutes a month, 1 hour a year, it probably doesn't worth you to automate this task. So that's a very, very brief, basic introduction of the concept of RP. And there are RP actually built a robot for you. That's the robot is the automation executive agent that enable you to process and develop in the RPA software. It can perform those data processing tasks, interact with applications, and can even move files and folders for you. As a summary, like a recap, it can mimic your action to type, click, and read data on a non-invasive feature. So there are actually two types of robots that RP can build. One is attended robot, and another one is unattended robot. So attended robots actually one type of robot that requires human monitor or human interaction. So it actually works on human users' workstation and can speed up the front desk task. It can help the workers of human staff to increase their productivity and lower their handling times. But it indeed requires certain manual intervention, like take the PO purchase order generating as an example. If you want to automate this task, most likely you will create an attended robot, because there is one very important step in your PO processing is you need to ask approval from the certain supervisors to approve the generated purchase order. So this type of robot will be attended by a human self to approve such PO orders. Another type of robot is unattended robots. It can operate without any human intervention. So it runs on a physical or virtual environment on the back of your computer environment. So and it's also normally programmed as per the business requirement, with guided by a feature in UiPath called Orchestra. So with unattended robot, it's running 24/7 on the virtual environment, and once there is an input or once there is a like a new task come in, it will run automatically without any human initiative. So that type is unattended robot.